The conclusion of Storm Hunters is right around the corner, but really quickly, 30 seconds for your national weather update. Of course, more details coming up after your show wraps up. Still dealing with high pressure in place for the prairies in Ontario through the overnight. We have the showers pushing out of the Maritimes. We even had some snow in places like Bathurst today. But high pressure really is the driving weather story here. For Newfoundland, you are also clearing out, but your temperatures are still slightly below seasonal. Single digits right across the board. Halifax at 8 degrees, 5 in St. John's. We will begin to see those temperatures rise into Tuesday. Here's Storm Hunters. Yeah, those witches of Novembers, they are powerful fall storms. It's hard to believe that it is fall in Ontario. We are so far above seasonal and will continue to be so as we move into the first couple of days of your work week. But check this out. By the time we get to Tuesday afternoon, we're watching for a weak cold front to slide through the Great Lakes Basin. Just some scattered showers here, but then the story switches because by the end of the week, that's when we're watching for this deep trough to dig in, and that means we are watching for a major cool down. Another sign that we're in the depths of fall, the clocks, they moved back earlier this morning. I hope you remembered. Here's some safety tips now. Yeah, that's some great advice. Now here's how that temperature story plays out by the numbers. Next weekend in Toronto, Saturday, topping out at 4 degrees, but keep in mind we are dealing with a wind chill. So at the warmest part of the day, it'll be feeling like 1. There is a risk with that cool air aloft and the relatively warm surface temperatures of the Great Lakes. Could be dealing with some lake effect snow for parts of southern Ontario. But let's bring you to a clear and cool Atlantic Canada for Monday. We're getting rid of those showers, but for places like northern New Brunswick, we actually had some flurries today. Bathurst, picking up on some of that. We have a weak disturbance in the prairies, bringing us some showers to parts of central Alberta, but that is riding the jet into the northern prairies over the next couple of days. No big deal there. The bigger story in the prairies is this ridge that is bringing us the sunshine, bringing us the warmth. But for BC, the wet and windy weather is making a return. Tonight, we have a powerful low that's going to slam the coast. Check out some of these wind gusts. We could see winds in excess of 100 kilometers an hour. Right now, your local forecast. Yeah, hard to believe that summer is over for the prairies today. Hot spot in Canada, Grassy Lake, Alberta at 23 degrees. I'm Michelle Mackey. This is your weekend weather story. The last few hours of your weekend anyways. You get an extra hour of it. Did you set your clocks back? For BC, we're talking about more wet and windy weather on deck for the coast. We have another powerful low working its way in, and over the next 7 days, significant coastal mountain rain, up to 500 millimeters of it locally. But more widespread, we're talking about 300 millimeters. This is likely to lead to additional runoff, which is a major cause or concern for some flash flooding. Let's take a look at our rainfall forecast. This is just through Tuesday. Just in 2 days, we are looking at 100 to 150 millimeters of rain for parts of Vancouver Island. Nanaimo, that's where we find Chrissy Van now. Did you see that? There were salmon swimming on that baseball field. That was Lewis Park in Courtenay, BC yesterday. So why are we dealing with all of this unsettled? We have a broad upper level low in the west, and as it digs deeper, it amplifies this ridge in the prairies. So that is why we are dealing with the warmth. 17 degrees is where we topped out in Winnipeg today. Temperatures will remain about 5 to 15 degrees above seasonal over the next couple of days. We're also well above seasonal in Ontario. Monday afternoon, 16 for Toronto, 10 degrees above seasonal for Thunder Bay. But do you see that little rainfall icon? That's a taste of what's to come Tuesday in the Great Lakes Basin. Not a washout, just some isolated showers. By the end of the weekend, though, we are watching for a major cool down. And because we have this cool air aloft, by the end of the week, I should say, we have the perfect setup for some localized lake effect snow because the Great Lakes, the surface temperatures are still relatively warm in comparison to that cool air aloft because, as Nathan was saying, we had such a hot summer. High pressure is building into Atlantic Canada, but you won't break the double digits for many areas until Tuesday when your temperatures begin to rise. Up next, routine. I am on Lake Toho right now, and behind me, yep, that's an alligator. Yeah, see, Mom and Dad, all those times you told me to rake the leaves and I didn't, I was doing it for science. How about that? I'm Michelle Mackey. Good to have you here with us at the Weather Network. It is hard to believe that we are in the depths of fall for many across the country. We're above seasonal and will remain so as we move through the first couple of days of the next week. But let's talk about our satellite and radar imagery. We have a very weak disturbance bringing us some showers through central Alberta, but nothing in comparison to what we're dealing with in BC. A powerful low is going to slam the coast tonight. We are talking about very gusty winds, a lot of rain as well. Rain warnings are in place, and so too are wind warnings. Where you see those reds for Haida Gwaii this evening, we're talking about gusts in excess of 100 kilometers an hour. And through the week, especially Monday and Tuesday, those winds are going to be quite gusty on western Vancouver Island and through the Strait of Georgia as well. But because we have that deepening trough in the west, we actually have an amplifying ridge over the prairies, and that is why the warm weather is set to continue. A breezy morning for Saskatchewan and a breezy afternoon for Manitoba with that southwesterly flow. But when we're talking about temperatures in the upper teens, no complaints. We are in the upper teens as well for Ontario, but things are going to change. By the end of the week, cool below seasonal air is going to plunge in. And because the surface temperatures of our Great Lakes are still quite warm, because it was so warm all summer, there is a risk of some lake effect snow. We'll have those details coming up in just a little while, but let's bring you to Atlantic Canada. Cool and clear for tomorrow. It won't be until Tuesday when we begin to see those temperatures rise. Wednesday, that's your next system for the Maritimes in central and eastern Newfoundland.